One of the biggest things that we have been focused on in just the last roughly almost year and a half or so, has been this blueprint for the future monetary system that got posted by the Central Bank of Central Banks, aka the BIS. And ever since, I'm telling you guys right now, I have been focused on this because I do think that they have given us the plan. I think that they exposed the plan. And they exposed it to those that are willing to actually look into this and read it. But majority of the general public have completely ignored this. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So like I said, I do think that majority of the general public have completely overlooked this. I always say 99% of the population is still blindsided by what's actually happening in this space. A lot of people think that I'm exaggerating when I say that number, right? 99%. But think about what percentage of the population is actually looking into XRP, HBAR, Algorand, Stellar. I mean, yeah, there's a ton of crypto wallets out there, but the number of crypto wallets is so exaggerated. How many wallets do you guys have? I have like 5, 6. I don't even know. Maybe I have 10 plus. I have no idea. I just know that I have multiple wallets. So what's the real number of retail participants in this space? 100 million? 200 million? We don't know. Now, say for so it is, let's just say that it's 500 million people. Exaggerate the number, 500 million, right? How many of that 500 million are actually looking into utility? How many are blinded by the meme coin craze and all the hype? This is the problem. This is why I say 99% is still blinded by what's happening. We look at this report, okay? They basically gave us a full breakdown of this. Now, mind you, this was back in 2023. June of 2023. We reported on it back then. The key takeaways is all you really need to focus on here. Tokenization of money and assets has great potential, but initiatives to date have taken place in silos without access to central bank money and the foundation of trust it provides. The thing about this that I find very funny is they mention silos. When you think about that, what's the first thing that comes to mind? The first thing that comes to mind, in my opinion, is public and private. Private blockchains are not going to make the cut. It's all, like everything that we see around this whole future monetary system, the future financial system, it's all going to take place on public blockchains. Why? Because they're not siloed. They're not closed off. They're not walled gardens. Now, they do mention a new type of financial market infrastructure, a unified ledger. This is a ledger that connects all DLTs to one, basically. This could capture the full benefits of tokenization by combining central bank money, tokenized deposits, and tokenized assets on a programmable platform. As well as improving existing processes through the seamless integration of transactions, a unified ledger could harness programmability to enable arrangements that are currently not practicable, thereby expanding the universe of possible economic outcomes. Multiple ledgers, each with a specific use case, might coexist, interlinked by application programming interfaces, APIs, to ensure interoperability as well as promote financial inclusion and a level playing field. And what's crazy about this, right, is that when you look at some of these ledgers, I go and look at the XDC network, right? XDC has always been focused on trade finance. Ripple using XRP has always been focused on cross-border payments. Stellar has always been focused on P2P, remittances. When we think about this, some of these DLTs have catered use cases that, either one, a company like Ripple have been fully focused on utilizing them for, or they've just been focused on that use case. Now you're kind of starting to see this whole image coming together. And again, the BIS also posted back in November of 2023 the future monetary system from vision to reality. And in this, they again talk about the unified ledger. They're addressing AI with digital innovation and how these can converge to ultimately create a new financial system. It's kind of crazy that these are the types of discussions that are ongoing. Even quantum technology is being addressed by the BIS. But when we look at this, right, these are the significant advancements that could be made utilizing AI with DLT and digital, technology advancements as well. Massive computing power, cheap instantaneous communication systems, near universal internet connectivity and smartphone access, available trusted computing, indispensable for security and privacy, the possibility of representing assets digitally through tokens that encompass all of the information about an asset and what can be done with it, and in the not so distant future, rapid advancements in artificial intelligence and quantum computing. What's crazy about this is this is out there in the open. It's so obvious what's happening, yet how many people are actually paying attention to this? It's just crazy to me that people are not aware of this. And remember that some of these players in this space have already been working with the BIS for well over a year plus now. Ripple joined the BIS Cross-Border Payments Task Force back in August of 2023. It's over a year now that they've been working with the BIS. And then we have the Finternet, the BIS vision that underpins the unified ledger tokenization push. The Finternet is basically the internet of value that Ripple has been pushing forever. Here we actually have the image of what this looks like. You have applications that are going to be plug and play through the API side of things. E-banking, digital wallets, financial apps, non-financial apps. Then you have the shared ledger at the center point as well with users and on and off ramps. I mean, it's kind of insane that this is being told to us by a central organization like the BIS, which is the central bank of central banks, literally the ones that are pulling the strings essentially around the financial system that we know of today. And they're basically talking about a complete replumbing of the financial system as we know it, using digital tokens, ledger technology, e-wallets, e-banking, new financial apps. I mean, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to be behind this, to have exposure to this. How can we get exposure to it? Well, big shout out to Smoke Dog. We have, yes, the unified ledger will include ISO 20022 compliant crypto assets, XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, Algo, QNT, IOTA. By following standards set by the BIS and the ISO committee, these assets are positioned to seamlessly integrate with the traditional financial system. And here we have harnessing or harmonizing ISO 20022, ISO TC68, and ISO TC307, which, by the way, that's the biggest one that I really kind of focus on, is ISO TC307. That actually got created by Gilbert Verdian from Quant Network. That is basically the standard behind DLT. But if we do harmonize all of this, it does pave the way for the unified ledger. These are all the standards behind DLT, messaging standards for, allowing DLT and even crypto to be implemented and utilized within the traditional system. All of this is building a bridge to that. And we have this unified approach aligns with the broader goals of a multitude of blockchain and DLT projects, including but not limited to Quant, Casper, XDC, Stellar, Hedera, Algorand, IOTA. By fostering a unified ledger that seamlessly integrates DLT with legacy systems, these standards and committees are shaping a future where financial transactions are not only efficient, but also universally accessible. Now, this is in response to this video over here by XRP Drops. The unified ledger explained by the Bank of International Settlements, a blueprint for the future monetary system, interledger protocol, plus the XRP unified ledger plus Finternet. Again, I don't look at this as just XRP. This is basically almost all utility projects. I've talked about this on multiple occasions. Unified ledger plus the Finternet, the unified ledger, a shared programmable platform, unified CBDCs, tokenized deposits, and other tokenized assets for one specific use case. there would be more than one such platforms designed for each particular use case. For example, Project Agora with the tokenization of cross-border payments. But check this out.
In the annual economic report, we explain how a new financial market infrastructure called a unified ledger can bring the necessary elements together. The term unified ledger refers to the fact that several types of tokens are brought onto the same platform. We would certainly envisage more than one such unified ledger, each associated with a particular use case. Now, there are several elements of such a unified ledger, so let's go through them one by one. First, we need a monetary unit of account and settlement finality, and this can only be provided by the central bank. So a unified ledger features central bank digital currency in tokenized form as a core component. Alongside CBDCs, tokenized deposits provide the primary means of payment for real and financial transactions. And beyond money, a unified ledger could feature tokenized forms of financial and real assets, such as tokenized government securities, or even tokenized forms of real assets such as commodities or real estate. The data environment that contains these elements also encompasses the information necessary for triggering any contingent performance of actions. For instance, in the supply chain example we saw earlier, the ledger could incorporate GPS tracking data, ensuring full information and transparency among all the interested parties in the supply chain. And any operation involving one or more of these elements is carried out in the execution environment. As mentioned already, each unified ledger involves only the intermediaries and assets required for that particular use case. For example, a payment between two individuals would bring together the user's banks as providers of tokenized deposits and the central bank as providers of CBDCs. Now, for the unified ledger to be a practical proposition, it has to meet the higher standards of data confidentiality and cyber resilience. Data partitions ensure that information is accessible only to the respective authorized parties within their partition domain. And meanwhile, cryptographic techniques facilitate the confidential sharing of data. Not least, a unified ledger needs a common governance framework defining the rules and standards on the interactions among the different components and how the rulebook can be amended. As a new type of financial market infrastructure, the principles for financial market infrastructures, or the PFMI, would serve as a natural starting point for establishing standards and ensuring effective governance. So let me conclude. I have outlined a blueprint for a new type of financial market infrastructure, a unified ledger that integrates CBDCs, tokenized deposits, and other tokenized claims on financial and real assets. Such a system not only improves existing processes, but also unlocks entirely new types of economic arrangements. And in this way, it can improve the old and enable the new. There are many possible use cases, but the full potential of the unified ledger will only become apparent with time as developers build on the platform. And here we can reflect on the experience from our own daily lives. We have all become accustomed to the seamless operation of apps on our smartphones. In many ways, the impact of smartphone apps on people's daily lives has far exceeded the initial imagination of the builders of the platform. The same is surely true of what is possible with tokenization and the unified ledger in unlocking entirely new types of economic arrangements. So in this respect, what I've presented to you today is likely just the tip of the iceberg of what is possible.
Now, one thing that I will say, what he says about users using smartphones and applications and how it has far exceeded their expectations, that's exactly why I keep telling you guys what crypto really is. If someone is asking you what crypto is, what it really means, and you don't know how to explain it to them, all you have to say is that with the internet, no one expected the internet to be as big as it is today. So it lacked a financial system tied to it. It lacked a digital financial system tied to the internet. And what crypto is that missing piece. It's the missing financial system that the internet was missing. That's it. But with that, think about it. Everything globally, everything around us has moved onto the internet. Everything is so digital. Everything is interconnected. But money, finance isn't. We have these financial applications, but they're all just UIs. We're not seeing messaging, and we're not seeing clearing and settlement changing. We just see a UI change running on antiquated rails. We have yet to actually see finance, money as a whole, actually be changed through the internet, basically. And that's what crypto is. Crypto is that financial system that is going to bring money into the digital age. It's going to bring money into the future. And that's why I really do think, everyone should be paying attention to this. I mean, this is one of the biggest opportunities that you are being presented with today. People still, to this day, people still talk about how stocks are going to make them rich. Listen, stocks are not going to make you rich. Stocks are a great thing to look at in terms of investing into an index fund or, a mutual fund, things like that. It's a great way to park wealth. It's a great way to build wealth. But when we think about actually having an investment that is going to change your life, this is where everyone should really be focusing their attention. Because we go back to the dot-com bubble. What happened after the dot-com bubble was people getting extremely wealthy off of legitimate companies, legitimate businesses. How many people got wealthy off of Amazon that were early? I know that there is a lot of them. And it's because when we think about what was going on then versus today, what a lot of those companies, well, they were utilizing the internet. They were utilizing the dot-com, technology that was there to build out solid, legitimate businesses. And now what we are seeing is legitimate use cases, legitimate, projects in this space that can revolutionize multi-trillion-dollar industries and sectors. And in my opinion, they will. And when we think about that, they cannot be cheap. They are going to grow massively, much bigger than anything around the dot-com era did. So if we think about that, where's all the wealth creation going to happen going forward? It's going to be around this technology. And listen, you don't have to even believe me. Look at what the BIS, the Central Bank of Central Banks, is telling you. Look at what the IMF is telling you. Look at what the World Bank is telling you. Look at what all of these big money market or these asset management companies are telling you. Money market funds are moving on chain. Everything is moving on chain. It's very clear on where we are headed. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.